Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot and the upcoming Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards and Matters of the Heart, which is now available for pre-order on Amazon. It is time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of 3 different mythical animals, and I asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal's calling to you, because that mythic animal has your message. And the animals were the Pegasus, the Phoenix, and the Dragon. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal is calling to your intuition, because there is your message. For those of you who picked the Pegasus, Pegasus is associated with poetic inspiration, also flying above obstacles, and looking at things from the vantage point of the element of air with a little bit of distance. So if you're attracted to Pegasus this week, this could be time to soar above the obstacle, to rise above it. It could also be a time to record your own feelings, your own emotions, and journal them. And this is also a poetic time, so if you want to get creative with your writing, Pegasus is wonderful for that. First card for Pegasus is where it's best to place your focus this next week. And we got the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune moves up and down, and there's these figures on the Wheel of Fortune that are rising and falling. They're all on the rim of the wheel, and the rim of the wheel represents the external world, the things that are outside of you that you have no control over. It's just random. And when you overly hook yourself up to that rim of the wheel, well, when things are going well from other people or from life, you move up on the wheel and you feel great, but it isn't always permanent. And if you're too attached to the rim, as soon as it turns, you could feel devastated. So the Wheel of Fortune asks you to get to your center, to the hub of the wheel, and into the eye of the storm, so that you can be in that wise place and let all this crazy go on around you without being swept up into it. The Wheel of Fortune is also extremely lucky, so this could just indicate that there's some unexpected good news, or even chance happenings or circumstances that are going to benefit you in some way. Either way, although it's going to be a luckier time, you don't want to overly rely on your luck because it's very fickle. And so this is going to be a time to maintain that sober-minded, centered focus as sort of some of this chaotic stuff is going on around you. The second card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. And we get another major arcana for the Pegasus. And this is the Chariot. And the charioteer is leaving the walled city behind him. He's going out into the world. He's leaving his comfort zone. And whenever we see the Chariot card, it challenges you to be courageous, to stand up in the face of fear and go for it anyway. The sphinxes on the card, one moving this way, one moving that way, can represent that life is pulling you in 2 different directions. And also the sphinxes can represent mystery, you not really knowing how this is all going to transpire or go. And yet you need to have a willing heart. So this next week, go for it. Be courageous. Stay in your center. Things may go well for you with that Wheel of Fortune. You may be finding yourself rising. But if you stay in your center, you'll never fall. And then finally, we have the Mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week. And we actually see Dionysus. He's the god of wine. On the card, it says freedom. He's a god of ecstasy and transcendence. And so Dionysus could be a time when you're really freeing yourself from something that's become restrictive. Maybe you've been trapped in your own walled city. Maybe the mystery is calling you out on your path. And now you need to heed the call and be courageous. Listen to the call. And don't be so afraid of change when the Wheel of Fortune comes up too. Next, we got the mythical Phoenix, and the Phoenix card says resurrection and surrender to change. And the Phoenix is the bird that is consumed by ashes and then is born anew from them. So if you're attracted to the Phoenix, this could be a time where a rebirth is assured for you. This could be a time to reinvent yourself. It could also be a time where you're willingly letting something die in your life in order to make room for the new growth and new life that waits for you. The Phoenix is telling you to take heart, that you're resilient, and that any ending that you might be experiencing right now is just a new beginning in disguise. First card for the Phoenix is where it's best to place your focus this next week. And another major arcana, we get the Fool card. And the Fool is all about new beginnings, just like the Phoenix. The Fool is the only card in the tarot numbered 0. He's not attached to any identity. He's free. So this could be a time for the Phoenix where you are also going to find that it's time to walk away from old labels, restrictions, or even old systems that no longer serve you. And it's also time to stake it out on your own, to be born anew. And also that sun that's on the card, shining on the Fool, can represent optimism, a positive new beginning, a new day dawning. So I just feel like for the Fool, this could be a time to take a risk. And for the Phoenix, it might be a little bit frightening because something's opening up for you, but you may feel like you don't know everything yet. You might feel like, oh no, what if I make a mistake? What if I look stupid? And the Fool reassures you that that's how everybody is at the beginning of a new journey. And that shouldn't stop you or keep you stagnant in the past. So you really want to be willing and open and take a risk, take a chance. And finally, that little dog next to the Fool, nipping at his heels, can represent some supportive friendships or people that are loyal to you that are going to help you get to your destination. The second card is advice from your inner wisdom if you pick the Phoenix. And we get another traveler in the tarot, another journeyman. Both the Fool and the Knight of Wands represent travel, movement, foreign places, new ideas. The definition of both of these cards is that if you are repeating the past over and over and over and expecting that different result, well, that's the definition of insanity. And it's time to try something new. The Knight of Wands has a willing heart and he's adventurous. And this could be a time when you're really opening yourself to the adventure of a lifetime. Go out on a limb, be a little bit more vulnerable, and maybe even see some different places or people. And then finally, the mythic archetype that's going to help you is Queen Hera herself. Hera can represent duty, responsibility. There might be a responsibility or a duty or an obligation that calls you out, and you need to go with it. Also, Hera is the queen, so this is a time to maintain your dignity and to keep your head held high. Know that you deserve a seat at this table and that you are dignified. Next, we have the Dignified Dragon, speaking of dignity, and this card says honor, good fortune, and individuality. And dragons are often associated with good luck, good fortune, but also wisdom, age, time. So this could be a time when you're also tapping into your own wisdom, looking to your own experiences in the past, and letting that be your best guide moving forward. And dragons are associated with fire, so this could be a time when you're lighting the fire or getting motivated or placing your passion in something that's important for you. First card for dragon is where it's best to place your focus. We actually get the Queen of Wands. And she's the charismatic queen of the tarot. She is somebody who represents self-confidence, originality. She's got that mystical black cat in front of her throne. And when this deck was drawn in 1909, black cats were considered taboo, witchy, and not in the best term of the word. So the Queen of Wands is showing, you know what, I don't care what the rest of people say about the black cat. This is what makes me magical. This is what makes me shine. And she places it right in front of her throne. This is a time for you to embrace your own shadow. Might even be a time to embrace the talent that makes you unique, because that's actually what makes you interesting. And so you don't want to hide that part of yourself. You really want to let it beam. And also the Queen of Wands holds the sunflower, which always turns its face toward the light. So this could be a time when you're really struggling to put your focus on what's positive, what's working, even if it felt like it was a liability before. Second is advice from your inner wisdom. We actually get the Nine of Swords. And traditionally, the Nine of Swords has been called the worst card in the deck, but not because the worst things are going to happen to you. The Nine of Swords affects your perspective. It can make you feel isolated or alone. It can also represent the voice of your inner saboteur that's going to tell you you're going to feel grief all the time. You're never going to get anywhere. You need to just wallow in the sadness. You're all alone. And this is not true. The Queen of Wands is encouraging you to shine that sunflower toward the light. And this might also be a time when you're getting out of isolation, when you're asking for the support that you're going to need. Nobody gets to their successful throne all by themselves. And the Nine of Swords is saying this might be a time to reach out and to get a little bit more loving care. And then finally, we have the mythic archetype that's going to help you. And it's actually Eos. She's the goddess of the dawn, of new beginnings and rebirth. And so Eos could say that all of this will change, and every night is followed by a new dawn. And I just feel like this could be a time of transformation for the dragon. So you don't want to look at how things look at your life right now and think it's going to be that way permanently. Instead, you want to be open to that change. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always check me out at elliotoracle.com and schedule a reading with me there. Otherwise, I will see you all next week, so do take care.